What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the evening. I want to call it different things. Evening alpha, morning mint. I like evening alpha. It's kind of the only time of the day that I get a chance to actually hang out and just check out the news and see what's going on. How you doing? My name is Todd. I am the co-founder of Adult Fantasy. We are the first decentralized, fan-owned Web3 character-based entertainment company. There's a lot of NFTs out there, a lot of NFT projects out there, but we are purely focused on building great character franchises, the next generation of entertainment. We believe will come from what we create and what you create, because it's not about us, it's about you. We are building a platform that will allow you to create what it is that you want, so that you can have ownership of that property. My background is fairly deep. If you don't know, I used to work for Marvel. I've worked at Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. I'm a 25 plus year veteran of comics and animation. I've advised a ton of startups from some of the top accelerators and institutions and incubators in the world, including Techstars and Teal Fellowship and Startup Leadership Program in Columbia and NYU, among many others. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is that talent only gets you so far, because it is the system and the management side and the investment side that tends to run the show. I believe that Web3 is the opportunity that every single creative person on the planet has been waiting for, in order to break that system and finally take control and ownership, or at least own a piece of what it is that they create. I've been around the block. I've been in pitch meetings. I've had shows optioned or close to being optioned. I've had pilots greenlit and directed pilots. And I can tell you that behind the scenes, the artist, the creator, the person who puts their blood, sweat, and tears into a property tends to not be the one that wins. And I think for the first time in history, the crypto / NFT space gives us the opportunity as creative people and as fans who are the true source of all of the creative energy that gets poured into these projects. It's our time. It is the creator and the creative fan who will rule this next round, this next generation of creator franchises, creator properties, and popular culture. I think we run the show. And I'm here to do my part and do everything that I can to create a platform and a system to help as many people as I possibly can do that. If you want to create something, if you have an itch to invent, I'm going to do everything in my power to push you out into the spotlight and get your name out there and get your success recognized. So that's what we're here to do. Pretty deep stuff, I know. You can see at the banner, we got adultfantasy.io. If you don't know who we are or what we do, click that link. Well, you can't click the link because it's on the screen, but if you're watching this in a replay, it's probably in the description, so you could probably check it out there. Let's see who we got in chat tonight. Let's see. We got Dusty. What's up, Chill Cat? Hey, Dusty. How you doing, brother? We got Willie D. Oh, I skipped Willie D. I went to Misfit Corner. What's up, Misfit Corner? The good night show. So as in, I'm going to bed. Good night. Hey, if you want to listen to my dulcet tones, I can do for you, Misfit Corner. I can do my NPR voice. We can do the show in an NPR voice, and you can go to sleep while listening to all of the happenings in Web3. Thank you, Mr. Corner. What's up? What's up, Willie D? Sorry to skip you. Hey, everyone. How you doing, brother? Bedtime tales with Todd. Yeah, I know, right? It's like let's get hyped. It's been a day. We've all been working. I go to bed at midnight. I wake up at 4, maybe 5 in the morning. So let's celebrate a hardworking day by looking at the news and getting psyched for tomorrow. What's up, Carrots? Hey, gang. J-Roz in the house. Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing? Misfits talking. Bedtime tales. Yep. Hey, Jeffrey, how are you doing? Adult fantasy ASMR? That's right. Sure. Dusty, what's up? Hey, everybody. Everybody's talking. That's great. So, I have something for you guys today. So tonight, what I'd like to talk about, what I think we should review, is what happened in the space. I know Bored Ape Yacht Club has been sucking up all the oxygen in the entire space, and if you're not in Bored Ape, you're probably sick of hearing about it. But it is important for every other project and what every other project owner and everyone that's involved in any other project has been affected by this, whether they know it or not. So we want to talk about the events that happened today with Yuga Labs, and we want to talk about how it affects all the projects and what I think is going to be happening going forward. I was proven right. You'll see today. I said something like a day or two ago about investing in Yuga Labs and what I thought they were going to get, and I nailed it. So I'm going to take full credit for that, because why not? But before we jump in, I do want to pop over to Discord, and I want to kind of go over some announcements. We made some announcements today. Just real quick. I know it's kind of hard to always see like announcements and stuff in Discord. We have a lot of stuff going on internally. Really quick, what we announced is that we put out a little notice. I put out a little notice talking about what we have going on right now, what's coming up, and then what's going to be coming up in the future. So, like coming up next and what's being worked on. We have a tremendous amount of stuff going on behind the scenes. Overwhelming, to be quite honest. But we enjoy it, and we're working hard on it, and we're super excited to show this to you guys. So really quick, what's happening right now is that we've been heads down working on building the new smart contracts. So the smart contracts that we launched for our first project, for our Genesis, for the adultfantasy.io season 1 launch, those contracts were specifically designed for our launch, right? For the adult fantasy NFT. What's been happening behind the scenes since then is that we got a lot of attention, and a lot of people looked at our technology and said, "Yo, that sounds cool. Can we do that? Can we partner up?" And so we are working behind the scenes on some partnerships. Hopefully we have many partnerships to come, because that's part of our roadmap, and that's part of how we believe that we can provide value to you guys, to holders. So what we've been doing is behind the scenes rebuilding the smart contracts from the ground up to support multiple projects from multiple sources, meaning that over the course of the year, and you'll see the results sooner than later, but over the course of the year, maybe even the next several years, we're building out think about it as a hub and spoke, right? So you have a hub, which is the core contract that kind of has all the stuff in it that every single NFT project needs to launch and to mint. And then as different partners come in, we create these extensions, for lack of a better term, right? These little extensions and plugins that as we build, the rest of the partnership group can take advantage of. So for instance, at first we have no plugins, no extensions, and then we have a partner who we may be announcing has requested something. We're going to be building it, and boom, now everybody else that comes in after that will have access to that extension as well. So there's a network of extensions, almost like an app store, for creating a smart contract. And based on the way that Shiraboom and Flint are setting it up, it's going to be a much lower cost to mint the contract, to push the contract to the blockchain, and it'll be should be way lower gas fees. So we're really excited about that. So that's coming up. There's a link if you want to hop in the Discord. There's a link that talks a little bit more about that, to a Medium article. Flint's also working on embeddable and shareable adult fantasy NFTs. So one of the things that we believe is that the NFT is the platform. I think that it sounds common, but I think it's a revolutionary act or a belief, because most people understand that the NFT is an asset. What we see is that the NFT is a platform, meaning it's not OpenSea, it's not looks rare, it's not Rarible, it's the NFT. So the NFT has the ability, and the NFT creator has the ability to push that NFT anywhere, right? As long as if I, as a project owner, all I have to do is sign up to a new site like Looks Rare, hit a couple of buttons, and it basically pulls in all my information, because I don't have to upload anything because the NFTs are on chain, right? They're out there on the blockchain, so it just shows it automatically. I don't have to upload anything. It just pulls from sources. So because of that, that gives us an opportunity to say, well, the centralization is really on the NFT. So one of the things that we've been really wanting to try to do is create the ability for you guys to be able to embed and share in a better way. So that's what we're working on right now. So inside of the player, you'll be able to click a button on OpenSea, and there'll be a share link where you can actually share the NFT and embed the NFT. More info on that as it comes. It's pretty cutting edge stuff, so I'm pretty excited about that. Also, the graded cards continue to evolve. Thank you guys so much for posting that stuff in Discord and on Twitter and stuff. It's pretty awesome to see. And I know, I think Carrots, I think you mentioned that you had some stuff hit fair condition. I know a few other people hit fair condition recently. It's really cool to watch. I'm very excited about that. I'm so curious to see where these things land. So I love that you guys are keeping tabs on it. I know I am, and I'm very curious to see how that affects collectability and how that affects floor price and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's very fun to watch. It's like the world's slowest horse race. it's like what if the greyhound races were done by, like, I don't know what's slower than a greyhound. Pretty much everything. Like, it's like a zombie. It's a zombie horse race. So what's coming up next? That's what we're working on this minute in terms of tech. What do we actually have coming up next? So coming up next in April, we're doing something that's never been done before. We're still working out the details on how we're going to handle the event, but we've worked really, really hard last year. I mean, we developed. It took us 9 months to develop the technology that you now hold in your wallet. And God, how do I say this without giving stuff away? The technology gives us the ability to do things and modify things in a way that could be very interesting and very fun. So a lot of the stuff that you guys have mentioned in the Discord about like the things that you have actually suggested, some of the suggestions inside of ideas and feedback are pretty much nailing at least the concept of what we're able to do. And so we're going to be working on creating an event, possibly coming with another partnership to present that. And so I'm very excited about that. And that's purely for fun. You're not going to have to mint anything. You're not going to have to pay anything. There's no gas, nothing like that. We're just going to have fun. And some people may have their NFTs become more special somehow. We'll have to see how that works. If you're new and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, or if that sounds exciting and you don't have an adult fantasy NFT, go grab an adult fantasy NFT. Just click the button. I say click the button on the screen, but you can't do that. Just go to adultfantasy.io, find the link to OpenSea, and pick one up, or at least go check. There's some good deals right now on the floor, and I don't think those are going to last very long. I think those floor prices are going to be rising pretty soon. Anyway, I really try not to talk about floor prices because my job is honestly just to provide as much value as I possibly can. And I truly believe that. What else we have? Also coming in April, there's going to be a special drop that's going to begin to set up the next phase of adult fantasy. So a special drop, what does that mean? Well, I can't tell you, but I can tell you that if you hold an adult fantasy Genesis season 1 card, you will have this drop for free plus gas. The event, there's no gas. The special drop, there will be gas. Let me put it this way: as we move forward and as we create new NFTs and new releases come out and the network grows, the holder, if you hold the Adult Fantasy Genesis Season 1 card, you've got the grail, man. It doesn't matter which card you have the grail. There will be games within that, of course, but regardless of which NFT from Adult Fantasy you own, you have a grail. It's the key to the city. You are going to get the best deal on everything. You have access to everything. There is nothing that we come out with that will beat what you guys get or have access to. So this is the first tip of the hat to that, and it's going to continue for years and years. So yeah, you guys deserve it. You guys have stuck with us, and we want to make sure that especially as we get deeper into the lore and deeper into the games and deeper into everything else, I think you're going to find that holding on to that Adult Fantasy Season 1 card is has advantages beyond just the de-aging, which is really, really fun. What else? We've had some recent press. We had the Block Research, which did a featured article on us. I'm not going to go too much on that. You can go into Discord and check that out. Finally, in the works coming up. So we're still working on historical data. Again, the NFT is the platform. So historical data, at a certain point, you'll be able to click a button in the player within the NFT window, and you'll be able to see the entire trackable data for how the card has changed over time, and possibly other things. That'll be a feature that we're going to be growing pretty deep for a while. Also, full screen player view is coming back. You may have noticed that we had the full screen player view, and it was awesome as hell. It was so dope, and then it disappeared. And the reason it disappeared was because OpenSea completely surprised us by removing the tag that we needed to show the Adult Fantasy NFT. Like, we had no idea. Like, all of a sudden, I think you guys popped into Discord and were like, "Hey, it's not working," and we were like, "Oh, that's weird." And we dove into it, and I think somebody, I wish I remember the name, but somebody popped in and said, "Oh yeah, they removed the tag," and that sucks. So we're working on a workaround. You're still going to have access to full screen mode. Most likely, I believe the solution we're working on is that you'll actually have it in the description. So we'll probably put it at the very top of the description, all of these links. So you'll be able to actually just click a link in the description, and you'll be able to see it full screen in a new tab. And then hopefully OpenSea pulls it back, and actually, like, at some point, if they ever put it back in, we'll certainly incorporate it into the player, because it's a little silly to not have that. It's ridiculous. We're also working on the Adult Fantasy HQ web app that's in full swing. It's already in development. This is a platform where you'll be able to contribute to the lore. You're going to be able to play games. You're also going to be able to connect with other members, kind of like what you do in Discord, except the way that you connect on the app is to partner to build product. I am a huge, if you can't tell, I'm a huge supporter and a huge believer in, and an educator in how to launch products. Like, this is what I've been doing for the last 20 plus years, is launching products. So I'm very good at it. And I've taught dozens and dozens and dozens of startups that have raised millions of dollars. And you know what? They've paid me a lot of money to do it. You guys don't have to, right? I want to give back, and I want to make sure that you guys have every tool that you need to grow and build and do whatever it is that you want to do. There's a lot of people in our Discord that want to start businesses. Some of them are NFT based or crypto based, and some of them are meat space based. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. It takes the exact same skill set. It just has to be something that's learned. And one of the things I think you guys are going to find that makes Adult Fantasy different is that I believe there are two things that need to happen in order for Adult Fantasy and the Clever Era as a company and as a DAO, hopefully eventually, to succeed. And that is the first thing and the most important thing is education, right? We need to provide enough education so that you can launch your own products, to build your own business, to push your work out there, whether it's completely disconnected from Clever Era / adult fantasy, or whether it's something that you want to build inside the ecosystem. There'll be benefits inside the ecosystem, but there are going to be benefits either way, right? When I leave this earth, hopefully in a very long time from now, I want to know that I've built a system where anybody, any creative person, or anybody with a uh, entrepreneurial bone in their body can come and have every single tool they need to launch whatever it is they want to launch. Period. End of story. And we have a system in place that does that. That's actually what I had worked on, for the last 4 years prior to adult fantasy, and it's proven, and we have results. I can't wait to share that stuff with you. All of that and more is coming in the adult fantasy web app. And finally, the game. You guys have known that I'm not going to talk too much about the game. I've talked a little bit about before, and we're gonna cover that stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's the update. I know that's it turned out to be a longer update than I thought it was gonna be, but I think it's good. I think it's worth it. I hope you guys are excited, because I sure as hell am. There's so much stuff going on. I think you're gonna see a lot of stuff pop up in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, and at least where our mind is at, and what our launch schedule looks like, it's going to be a busy year. You guys are going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun as well. Like I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm like chomping at the bit to get this stuff out to you guys. All right. So with that said, let's cut to the chase. Let's talk about the news of the day. Let's see what happened in the world of NFTs this year tonight. The big news of the day is that Yuga Labs, aka Bored Ape, got their funding round. It was rumored for months and months and months. There was no doubt that they were going to get funding. Like, there was zero doubt that they were going to do a raise. And so I want to do a kind of a deep dive. Well, not kind of. I want to do a little bit of a deep dive to show you what the industry is talking about, to show you what people in power are talking about, to show you how the stuff works behind the scenes, and to give you a little bit of insight into what this means for the rest of us. Because again, you may think that you have nothing to do with Bored Ape. You could hate the property, be like, I don't give a crap about Bored Ape. Doesn't matter. It affects you, because it's attracting attention from a tremendous number of people, powerful people, and that's going to affect everything moving forward. So it's important for us to dissect it, to learn about it, and to pull out some takeaways so that we can apply it to our business, to our lives, and to our strategies for how we collect and how we just move through the NFT space. So I'm going to pop over. We're going to share. Here we go. I'm going to pop off that banner, because hopefully you guys know that we're from Adult Fantasy. Cool. All right. So this is from A16Z. A16Z is Andreessen Horowitz. It's an investment firm. Andreessen Horowitz is, in my humble opinion, I mean, there are a number of top venture capital firms. Andreessen Horowitz is top 1 or 2, in my opinion. They're the best known, and they have a deep history in tech, and they've been around forever. And I'll show you some of I'll show you some of their portfolio here in a minute, but I just want to cover the announcement. A16Z account, you can see they have a Bored Ape. We're excited to announce that A16Z Crypto is leading the financing of Yuga Labs. General partner Chris Lyons has the details. So I'm going to cover his tweet in a minute. But so they make the announcement. Who is A16Z? It's Andreessen Horowitz. Let's just check a little bit. So their team is all stars. Everybody in here. I know you probably don't recognize a lot of the names, but believe me when I tell you that A16Z is the top venture firm on the planet, one of the top. led by Mark Andreessen. If you don't know who Mark Andreessen is, Mark was the creator, founder of Netscape back in the day. He sold to AOL for $4.2 billion. He also founded LoudCloud and a whole bunch of other stuff. He sold that to Hewlett Packard for $1.6 billion. So, guys, loaded. He's a fantastic entrepreneur. He just knows what to do. He's fantastic. Let's check out their portfolio so you can see what company Bored Ape now travels in. So Andreessen Horowitz invested in Airbnb. I mean, there's a ton of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. I mean, it's just, I'm sure it's, look at this, like pretty much everything you've ever heard of, right? We're just going to go through a couple of them. I'll just pull out some names of ones that pop out to me, but I mean, I've pretty much heard of all of these. Airbnb, Box, Facebook, Lyft, Pinterest, Zynga back in the day, Coinbase, Roblox, Slack, you know, I mean, good Lord, right? Everything. Let's see another one. GitHub, Imager, Instagram. I mean, we're only in L's. Open Secret, Oculus. You get the idea. Pretty much RDF. There's Artifact right there, right? So they invest in Artifact, got acquired by Nike. So they've been deep in the space. Skype, Stack Overflow, like Social Cam, you name it, they're in it. And this is just, then that's part of their portfolio. Here's their active portfolio. It just goes on forever. They invest in everybody. Every major product that's out there, they probably have a hand in. So they know exactly what they're doing. Bored Ape is in good hands. I mean, look how I can just scroll on this forever. You can come back and like pause this video and, and try to check out exactly what they invested in, because it just, I mean, come on, this is just nuts. Pretty much everything, right? They've done very, very, very well. They're in Substack, they're in Stripe, pretty much everything. So that is who has invested in them. And so, in fact, we could even go to crypto in their focus area. I don't know if it'll, let's see what their portfolio is in crypto. There you go. Bitsky, Coinbase, Dapper, Forta, Maker, Polychain Capital, Orchid, OpenSea. So they're investor in OpenSea. So now you've got OpenSea. So here's the thing. Here's a question for you. The investors of OpenSea also invest in Bored Ape. Do you think OpenSea is going to give Bored Ape a little bit of a preference on OpenSea? Just a question. Just asking here. Anyway, so that's who Andreessen Horowitz is. And let's check out Chris Lyons and see what he said. So I'm beyond excited to announce that A16Z Crypto is leading the financing of Yuga Labs, and I'm joining the board. We look forward to helping the team continue to usher in the next wave of creators and builders into Web3 to define the future of culture and innovation. LFG. The Bored Ape Yacht Club was a turning point for the NFT space, flipping historic power dynamics by providing a full commercial license without a royalty to all holders. This generated a creative explosion of community-directed IP, catapulting the Bored Ape Yacht Club deep into the cultural zeitgeist. Ooh, I like that. Deep into the zeitgeist. Yuga gave Basie and Macy, and now Punks and Meebit holders an unlimited worldwide license to use, copy, and monetize each NFT. IP rights paired with incentivized word-of-mouth distribution have made the Basie community unstoppable. The innovation led to the creation of communities like Jenkins of LA and entertainment brands like Kygo Music and Timbaland, brand new creative using Yuga Labs original art. Yuga is using Web3 to turn the industry, quote unquote, upside down and put creatives on top. I actually think it's huge that they mentioned Jenkins of LA. That's actually great for Jenkins, that it just shows that top venture firms are looking at Jenkins as well. That's pretty cool. And Timbaland's in it. And I haven't heard of Kygo Music, but there you go. Basie has quickly become a Web3 culture, gaming, and entertainment empire. And with the addition of Larva Labs, Punks, and Meebits, a new economy and creative universe is forming within the Yuga Labs ecosystem. The four visionary founders, and Garga, Gordon Goner, Tomato, Sass, and V Strange, captured the lightning in a bottle with Basie. We're thrilled to invest in this brilliant team and their vision and help forge the next frontier of community-owned entertainment. So that's the biggest deal, is community-owned. And I do I do think it was a huge deal. I still stand by. If you were there at the time, I'll tell you my impression is that they just did it to do it. It wasn't like they were trying to revolutionize jack shit. They just were like, screw it. Like, CryptoPunks wasn't given IP, so we will. Screw it. We don't care. Go for it. It was very punk, right? It's punk to be like, you guys do it. And it worked. It really did work. So community-owned entertainment is now a thing. And that's actually a pretty big deal. Certainly where we are, right? That's where adult fantasy is. Community engagement is off the charts, and they're building a stellar team of designers, engineers, and operators to help bring their grand vision to life. Disney 3.0. I like how they didn't say Disney 2.0. They're going beyond that. Disney 3.0. None of the above should be taken as investment advice. Please see their disclosures for more information. Right. So they're even doing a disclosure because like he doesn't want people to go out and say that, he's protecting, that's covering his ass. Totally covering his ass. But that's good. He's supposed to. That's his job. Anyway, straight up, it's a great post. I love the phrase community-owned entertainment. It makes my heart sing. So what exactly did they get? What was the deal? Well, I'm going to butcher it. Jake K at JK has it, and we're going to cover The Verge. We're going to read the Verge article just so you can get a kind of a 360 view on this. Basic creators Yuga Labs have raised $450 million, valuing them at $4 billion. The company talked to me about their metaverse project, Other Side. So I'm going to take a little bit of a bow here because just the other day, there were rumors that said they were going to be valued at $5 billion. And I said, if that's true, if they're going to be valued at if the valuation is $5 billion, they're going to have to raise somewhere between $400 and $500 million because they got to get a 10x return to get that valuation. And so I nailed it right in the middle. They were at $4 billion, $450 million. So you were welcome. I'm a badass. I'm taking credit because I nailed it. Come on. It's fun. It's fun. You knew they were going to raise a shit ton of money. I still question the amount of money that these companies are raising. That's a totally different topic for a different time. But I'm a little old school in startup land, and I've seen thousands of companies raise capital. And there is something to be said for companies that raise too much money. I don't know if that's the case with Bored Ape. Probably not, actually, but $450 million is a tremendous amount of money for a company that had already earned several $100 million. Absolutely mind-boggling, just crazy. So let's pop over to The Verge. Bored Ape Yacht Club creator raises $450 million to build an NFT metaverse. The funding values Yuga at $4 billion. So Yuga Labs, the owner of 3 of the biggest NFT brands on the market, has raised $450 million in funding at a $4 billion valuation, the company announced today. The team behind Bored Ape Yacht Club plans to use the money to build a media empire around NFTs, starting with games and its own metaverse project. The team describes its metaverse project called Other Side as an MMORPG meant to connect the broader NFT universe. They hope to create an interoperable world that is gamified and completely decentralized, says Wiley Aronal, the co-founder of Bored Ape Yacht Club, who goes by the pseudonym Gordon Goner. I know, I'm sorry, man, I'm going to butcher your name. We think the real Ready Player One experience will be player run. The announcement comes just weeks after Yuga Labs made a major move to consolidate the NFT space, acquiring CryptoPunks and Meebits from Larva Labs. The acquisition put 3 of the most lucrative NFT collections under one roof and gave Yuga Labs a bigger roster of IP to pull from when crafting its game and metaverse plans. The company also launched a cryptocurrency called ApeCoin last week. The token will be governed independently and used as a primary currency in Yuga Labs properties. And I'll take a little sidebar to note that another thing that's happening is that more and more projects are already announcing an integration with ApeCoin. So it's not a guarantee by any stretch, but it certainly seems like ApeCoin may become the Ethereum. And I said this the other night. I said, I think that ApeCoin could become the Ethereum of the NFT game layer. right? So how do you want to mint your NFT? Do you want to use ETH or do you want to use ApeCoin? How do you want to pay for your NFT on OpenSea? Do you want to use ETH or do you want to use ApeCoin? How do you want to, what kind of internal game currency do you want for your project? Do you want to invent your own token and have to go through all of that? Or do you want to just use ApeCoin, something that the entire network knows? So I think that ApeCoin has the potential to be Ethereum for NFTs, right? I think if there's anything that could pop Ethereum off of NFTs, it might be ApeCoin, or at least paired. So it's still too early to tell, but man, the heat that I've seen on ApeCoin from other projects saying, hey, we're going to use ApeCoin to launch our products, and hey, we're going to use ApeCoin in our game, it's off the chain, man. It's crazy. So it's really interesting to watch. Yuga Labs is partnering with a few different game studios to bring Other Side to life, says CEO Nicole Muniz. The game won't be limited to Bored Ape holders, and the company plans to create development tools that allow NFTs from other projects to work inside their world. We're opening the door to effectively a walled garden and saying everybody's welcome. You should believe that we are interested in that over here. There we go. I'm going to skip the video. Metaverse projects are all the rage right now. See Facebook renaming itself to Meta. But Yuga Labs thinks other companies are going about their metaverses ideas wrong, giving the startup a chance to stand out. People won't bond from spending time together in a shared virtual space with nothing going on, says Greg Solano, a Yuga Labs co-founder who goes by the pseudonym Gargamel. Instead, he says, people bond from being put in positions where they have to collaborate. That's very true. You only play with people and make friends because you're getting your ass kicked, Solano says. Basically, we don't think deep social experience comes from essentially a Zoom chat and walking around and saying hi. Yuga Labs declined to provide a timeline on the release of Other Side. A play-to-earn game is also planned for later this year. That's interesting that they didn't give a timeline on the release because the video says April. So I'm going to say that they're opening something up. Do I think the entire thing is going to be done? No. Do I think you'll probably start getting land sales similar to Sandbox in April? I do. I think you'll start getting the land box. I think you'll get the land sales for their metaverse starting in April, and they could quite possibly model Sandbox where just every month, every couple of months, they're opening new land up. And that gives them runway, money, and time to build the product. The funding round, one of the largest for an NFT company to date, was led by the firm Andreessen Horowitz, which has been invested heavily in the Web3 space. It previously funded OpenSea, Dapper Labs, and Coinbase. Also joining the funding round are the game studio Animoca Brands and crypto firms Coinbase and MoonPay, among others. Yeah, I saw a really funny tweet that said, "Oh, so Andreessen Horowitz funds OpenSea and Coinbase uses its funding to invest." Andreessen Horowitz invests in Coinbase and Yuga Labs, and Coinbase uses its funding to invest in Yuga Labs as well, which creates kind of a weird pyramid, which is true. It's a little strange. Like I said, they funded OpenSea. If you don't think Bored Ape is going to get preference on OpenSea, you're crazy. I mean, they'd get it anyway because it's a top project. But there's probably going to be a little more promotion in there now that they're all in the same portfolio family. Chris Lyons, general partner at Andreessen Horowitz, who joined the board of Yuga Labs. Funding talks were first reported last month by the Financial Times. To me, Yuga Labs, combined with these other emerging Web3 companies, are an important counterweight to companies like Meta, Chris Dixon said, who leads Andreessen Horowitz's crypto arm. There's a dystopian future where Meta is the kind of dominant digital experience provider, and all of the money and control goes to that company. Interestingly, Andreessen Horowitz's co-founder, Mark Andreessen, is on Meta's board of directors and invested early. Very true. I also agree with Chris Dixon, who believes that Meta could be a dystopian future. I don't know anybody that would want to be a part of any kind of Mark Zuckerberg metaverse. But, we probably will anyway because they don't have to build anything. They just buy it. They just do acqui-hires and acquisitions like Instagram. Yuga Labs has been financially successful to date. A leaked pitch deck indicates that the company made 137 million last year, primarily by taking a cut of the transactions tied to its NFT brands, with an astounding 95% profit margin. But the company has built fairly little at this point. Its NFT collections have 40,000 users at most, according to OpenSea's data, and the company has only released one game for a limited period of time. That means Yuga Labs is essentially being given hundreds of millions of dollars to build a gaming company, or at least the Web3ified 2022 version of one from scratch off the back of a hugely lucrative art project. True, but you can't deny the cultural moment that they captured. Uh, I have a standing rule that says, like, anytime you see somebody like tattooing your artwork on their body, you've made an impact. And there's a lot of Bored Ape tattoos. That's not something I always think, personally, to me, that that kind of commitment to a brand is pretty crazy. Um, uh, so I'm pausing because I'm now daydreaming of like Beelzebubby tattoos, but that's okay. It's okay. It'll happen. It'll happen. One of you crazy people out there will do that. We'll get my daughter tattooed when she's old enough. It's fine. That success is what investors are thinking about when funding Yuga Labs. They built this very energized community and this cultural phenomenon, says Dixon. But the company is ultimately making the same big bet, so that so many others are right now. That some format of metaverse project will become the next big explosive thing. Now they just have to build it. I think they're onto something. Possibly. Let's pop in. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see what's happening over here in chat. Let's see. Carrot says someone shared a fair good today. Oh, really? Yeah, that's right. I saw that. That's really cool, man. That's really, really cool. And I know, just as an aside, we're also thinking, we've also been talking internally about actually putting a word fair / good / mint, like, as opposed to FG and all the just the letters, just to make it a little more normie friendly. So anyway, I'm dropping that here. But yeah, that's awesome that someone shared a fair good. That's really cool to see. J Raw, what's up, Dusty? Listening while working out right now. That's great. Oh, he's working right now. Awesome. Dusty says, do you get special drop proportional to the amount of adult fantasy Genesis you own? Yes. So I don't want to give too much away because it could change, right? But right now, I can say that yes, the drop is proportional to the amount of adult fantasy Genesis you own, for sure. We are. Someone asked this in Discord today as well about, is it wallets versus NFTs? And I think, at least right now, it'll be based on. Right now, the drops that we want to do are definitely proportional to the amount of adult fantasy Genesis cards that you own, as opposed to wallets, because people can shuffle wallets and it just gets crazy, and you don't want people to do that. Like, there's no reason for that. So I think it works better if it's just like, hey, you own X number, that means this, right? That it just makes it more simple. It's a good question. Great question. Carrot says Yuga could centralize like crazy as well. Time will tell. Yeah, that's the thing, for sure, right? Like, there's always we're still in a phase of centralization. Like, most of these projects have some kind of centralization. Every project does, because there are no decentralized servers. There is no Amazon Web Services that's decentralized. Does that make sense? Like you still have to host metadata. You still have to use servers somewhere. So it's not, and the projects that are 100% on chain, it's so difficult. You can only put so much on a block, right? We ran into that problem. The very first thing we wanted to do with Adult Fantasy was we wanted to have that entire project on the blockchain. We wanted the whole thing to be on chain. And we actually did pretty well. We got the artwork as detailed as it is that you guys see. We got that on chain, which is crazy. But it was just so difficult, and it was going to be. I mean, you want to talk about high gas? It just wasn't worth it. So yeah, I think it'll come. I think there's going to be. I have no doubt that there will be fully decentralized AWS, Amazon style decentralized servers, right? I think it's going to take time, like anything. You know, we're super early in this, um, and I think it depends. It depends on what they want to do, right? It depends on if they want us, how much of it they want to be centralized. Like, you know, I think a lot of projects are going to have a have a come to Jesus moment where they have to decide how decentralized do they want to be, right? Like 100% centralized, like that has pros and has cons, right? Just in terms of, I couldn't tell you the cons off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are several, probably most of them in terms of management. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Oh, and I see you say, sorry, Carrots, I didn't even say that. You could centralize like crazy as well. Time will tell in terms of the stuff they buy. Um, in terms of the stuff they buy, do you mean the stuff that Yuga is buying? Um, Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think what's interesting about this, before we pop into the final pieces here, I think what's interesting about the Yuga acquisition of CryptoPunks and Meebits is that it opens the door to consolidation, right? Here's the thing you have to think about. Yuga Labs now has $400 million more, $450 million more, because they also earned $140 million. So they now have, let's just say, $600 million in the bank. Okay, they have $600 million in the bank, and they haven't built anything yet. Okay, there are no more costs with Bored Ape because the NFTs are out there. It's just all secondary sales. It's all profit. Um, I think with $600 million, I think what you might see is I think Bored Ape is going to start purchasing other projects. Um, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm just throwing names out here. I have no inside knowledge or anything, but it wouldn't surprise me if they bought Cool Cats, right? It wouldn't surprise me if they bought these other brands. Um, or invested in them themselves because they have the capital to do so. And it's going to make their portfolio, if they're really going for Web3 Disney, the way that Disney does it, which is just buying shit, they have the money to do that, right? Um, that's it's a tried and true strategy. You let other people create it, and then when they're done creating it, you buy it from them, make them rich, and you use that property and take it to the next level. Um, Hey, Opportunist is here. What's up, Opportunist? Uh, you got to put some more music, man. Your stuff is amazing. I miss it. Carrots. I mean, they could acquire a bunch more projects. Yeah. So you and I are thinking the exact same thing. And I wonder what they might do for the health of the space. Could be good or bad. I go back and forth. Yeah. The pro is that you're going to get a lot of projects under one roof. You could have a Pixar Disney situation where you have Yuga own the top 25. I mean, Yuga has the money right now where they could buy the top 25 projects. They could buy Azuki, they could buy all of it. They could buy everything. Um, I don't know if that would be smart because I think they have to prove, I don't think they would do that right now. But I think once this metaverse concept comes around and they start building stuff and they start to see what's popular inside of that metaverse, absolutely they can acquire whatever the hell they want, for as long as they want. Like they're kind of set. How that affects the space, um, it's certainly, well, I mean, it could be that it's the Netflix effect, right? The Netflix effect happened to comics where, um, for decades, comic creators didn't give a shit about movies or TV because it wasn't an option. And because it wasn't an option, they didn't conform their creativity to anything other than their imagination. So they just created whatever the hell they wanted to create in serialized form or in limited edition or graphic novel or trade or whatever. They just let their creativity run wild to tell the stories that they wanted to tell. When it started to become, when comics started to become popular in movies, um, I mean, I guess you could give credit to 1989 Batman, but I think it really happened after that. I really think it was, um, I really think it was Iron Man. When Iron Man came out with from Marvel and blew the doors off, I think it made $1 billion in a weekend or something. When that opened up and began the MCU as we know it, um, all of a sudden, from Marvel, all every creator started to create their stories to feel and look like MCU productions, to have, they started making their panels look widescreen, right? Like even the comics looked like widescreen format blockbuster movies. And then with Netflix, it was the same thing. When Netflix came out and you had I think it was even before Stranger Things popped, but especially when Stranger Things popped, um, comic artists and comic companies and producers started to tailor their creations to try to get the deal that they really wanted. So it wasn't about, whereas before it was yo, I just want to create the best comic book because the medium is the message, right? Comics are a brilliant medium. It's not a genre. Comics are a medium. This is where I want to be. And I'm going to create my property and my project through comics. And then the next generation that had the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Netflix had a different approach where all of a sudden they were like, hey, comics are the R&D mechanism for Hollywood. I'm going to make my comic book and I'm going to get an agent and they're going to pitch my comic to to studios and to Netflix and to Amazon Prime and to Hulu and everything else. And I can build my audience in comics and then use that to leverage myself into a completely different medium or a different section of entertainment. So it became a stepping stone. So I think you actually have a really good way of. I think your radar is up for a reason, right? Like I don't think this is anytime soon. We're talking about 5 to 10 years out. But certainly, if Yuga gets big enough and they become the Disney of NFTs or the Netflix of NFTs or whatever of NFTs, um, you're going to have companies that are going to create styles to attract either that audience or that company, right? There's a reason why a lot of the Cartoon Network properties look like Steven Universe now, right? Because it was a huge show and it was a hit, and animators want the huge show and the huge hit, so they're not going to reinvent the wheel. They're just going to look at what works and they're going to try to mimic that. So you could start to see that. I do think we're a ways away from it. Um, I'll be curious to see what happens. I'll be very curious to see what happens to Yuga Labs in what they do with Bored Ape, because their problem is that Bored Ape is Yuga Labs. Like that's their brand, but now they're trying to branch out. So if they do too much too fast, they're not going to have the Disney effect, meaning Mickey Mouse is Disney, but the reason why Mickey Mouse is Disney and will always be Disney is that they focused on Mickey Mouse as a solo character, and then of course with friends with Goofy and all that. Like they focused on Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse had his time to shine for like a long time through short films, through movies, through TV shows, through apparel. One character, one image, one icon. It goes back to what we were talking about with Whale Shark the other night. Like, um, I think that there might be a little bit of a potential problem if they do too much too fast, and all of a sudden it's like Bored Ape is just one of many of these things, and then all of a sudden you have all these holders who are like, well, wait, we're not special anymore, right? Oh, we get to be a like part of the Disney 3.0, but we're not like the focus. Like, I think they're going to have some balancing issues with that. Um, Opportunist says, we're all good. They need us and we need them. Yeah, that's true. For sure. For sure. For sure. All right, let's check this out. So, a couple more things here. Song, I thought you guys would find this fascinating. I found it fascinating. Shout out to Chris Lyons, A16Z, and Yuga Labs for bringing some Bored Ape holders into the seed funding round. Party Round even minted an epic NFT to go with it. So I didn't know anything about this. I guess some of the Bored Ape holders some of the bigger names were able to get into the seed round, which is pretty cool. Um, all this stuff happens behind closed doors. Pretty cool that they made a little little NFT to celebrate it. Would have been nicer. And look, I can't, things happen for a reason, and I can't sit here and throw stones at a glass house or whatever. But I would have liked to have seen all Bored Ape holders invited into the seed funding round. I'm curious as to why only some Bored Ape holders were invited into the seed funding round. I do know that a lot of this has to do with whether you're an accredited investor or not. But there are also now tons of ways to become an investor if you're not accredited. Accredited meaning, I don't remember I think you have to have like a net worth of $1 million or $1 million worth of investments in other ways, or assets or something like that. So most people are not accredited investors. It would have been nice to, if you were going to give some Bored Ape holders or accredited investors access to the seed funding round, create another access point for holders. That would have been a good thing to do, in my humble opinion. I'm sure they had their good reasons for not doing it. I'd be curious to hear why, just so that I could learn. And I wonder where this NFT is. It's very interesting to me that they would do this. It's a little, I don't want to say pompous, but it's kind of like, look, we gave them $450 million. Here's a goal. It just shows you how big this thing is, man. When people are making NFTs based on like how much money you raised, like $450 million is debt. When you raise money, when you raise capital, when you get investment, it's not a plus in your account. It's debt. You've been lent $450 million in exchange for equity or tokens or whatever. So I always find, hooray, you're hugely in debt now. Congratulations. So this, I had never heard of Party Round. It's new to me. Party Round even minted an Epic NFT. So what's Party Round? Let's go look at it. Party Round is a new app. It's not even out yet. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that this product is probably either directly invested by A16Z or tangentially invested by A16Z. I just know how this stuff works, and it's almost never just completely random. I could be wrong. But an app coming out soon. Join the wait list. Raise like it's 2052. And you can see finally a funding tool for founders, so you can spend less time raising and more time building. Automate your raise from open to close, docs, collect signatures, receive funds, turn your community into your cap table. So this is what I'm talking about. So you can turn your community into your cap table, but at least with Bored Ape, it was only some Bored Ape holders. I'm guessing that these some Bored Ape holders were given access to Party Round, and that's how they invested. It would have been nice if it had been the rest of the community. Turn your community into your cap table. Take checks big and small. Privately invite anyone to invest. So that would be how they did it, right? They went through the app. They invited some of their top collectors. Stay on top of important news. Great. Your investors can commit with just a few taps and earn exclusive NFTs to verify their investments. So there you go. You've got a Web3 tied Web 2.0 startup that's Web3 tied, I guess, because it's a mobile app. So that's pretty good. And then this will come out soon. I'm really curious to learn more as this comes out. And finally, we've talked a lot about this, about how this affects things already, but so far we've talked about how it affects other projects. We've talked about how Yuga could be affected, but there's also the final piece. I think the third and final cornerstone of this diagram is how it affects investors and investment. And I'm not going to read this entire article. You're not going to need to. So this is Juan Ventures introducing Juan. I'm sorry, Katie. I'm going to butcher your name as always. Introducing Juan Ventures. Today we're introducing Juan Ventures, a firm designed from the ground up to help founders build the next generation of the internet. we've raised $1.5 billion in capital to support the growth of Web3. We'll invest through 2 platforms, a $500 million early stage fund and a $1 billion acceleration fund. So, and then the article about what it is and how it was put together and who Katie is. That's crazy, man. That's so much money for a brand new venture fund. $1.5 billion. Let's just click on this. I haven't done this before, so let's just see what this looks like. Dawn of a new web. That's cool. Is that it? That's probably it. Yeah. So they're just placing, hey, look, Web3, something cool, generative. Bananas. That's a tremendous amount of money. I think we're going to get very soon. I think we're going to get tricked into believing that $450 million is not a lot of money to give to one company. Here's another venture firm that's coming out with 1.5 billion in capital. And this is something that I've talked to other friends in the space about often. And that is, it was only last year when Bored Ape came out and when we started working on adult fantasy, the space was so different. It was just people making cool shit. People were like, it was like 3 people. Hey, here's an idea for an NFT project. Let's just launch it. Let's just push it out there. And within months, I mean, that was like, let's just say from January to June, right? By the summer of last year, all of these venture firms started coming in. They first came in as buyers and then they came in as investors. So that by the end of the year of 2021, the entire industry had already been completely shifted. It is completely dominated by venture capital right now, 100%. Like most of the projects that you love either raised venture to launch or will raise venture post-launch, right? So the successful projects are being courted heavily by these venture firms. I'm of 2 minds about it. Personally, I'm not anti-VC. I have a lot of friends that are VCs. Half the companies I mentor are VC-backed companies. It's not necessarily a problem. The question becomes, as a company, what your direction truly is. And this goes to Yuga, and this goes to everybody else. If you are a project owner and you bring in venture capital, I don't know how truly decentralized you can be, right? You can be decentralized in practice, meaning that the assets that you create, the mints, are decentralized, but you're not really community owned, right? We talk about Chris Lyons here. He said, community owned entertainment. Technically that's true, but if a percentage of the community happens to be venture firms and they own 50% of the DAO, right? Or they own a controlling stake in the decision making or the voting or just the supply, then it's not really community owned. You have the false sense of freedom, right? You have the false sense of democracy, I guess you could say, but really you're not, your choices. Let's just put it this way. One of the benefits of a DAO, one of the things that's pitched is the ability to vote and have a say and have your voice heard and help control the direction of whatever project the DAO controls. If 30, 40, 50, 60% of the DAO is controlled by a venture firm, then you have the illusion of elections. Instead, what you have are selections, right? You can vote, you get 1 vote. You have 1 Bored Ape, you can vote and your vote counts for 1. These guys just gave them $450 million. Whatever they say goes, right? There's going to be a lot of positive with that because you're going to see massive deals, partnerships. Hey, Yuga Labs partners with Airbnb. right? Like you're gonna, I mean, it's gonna be crazy. Um, but uh, but on the flip side, I do think that projects moving forward, founders have a tendency to be attracted to money, which is not bad. Um, I mean, that's why, that's part of the point of starting a business. But you have to think about where it is you really want to go and what you really want to do. Um, and so it's just something to think about. No right or wrong answer. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out over time. And yeah, it's a wild ride. It's Congratulations to Yuga and all these guys. It's a crazy deal. It's got to be one of the biggest deals in the last shoot, probably. I mean, it's a stretch to say this is one of the biggest deals since Facebook. It's pretty freaking huge. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. Is there anything in the comments? You get an Airbnb. It's the opportunist says, then I sell everything. Yeah, exactly. Yuga and Airbnb. That's what I'm saying, right? I mean, that's what they do. They partner with these companies. You get, oh, Yuga and Stack Overflow. That's great. We're gonna brand GitHub, or something. That's how it works. That's what happens. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know on Discord. I love to continue the conversation on this. It's a big deal. It's going to have massive shockwaves throughout the industry. I know a lot of you guys are tired about hearing about Bored Ape, but it's going to change a lot of things. I talked to a lot of project owners behind the scenes, and it matters. It matters. It changes the way people think about things. People start saying, "Hey, well, I don't need 450 million. I could just do a 10 or 20 or 1." Right? And all of a sudden they start pitching VC, and that changes the industry. So it's important to keep this at the forefront and really, got to keep these companies in check. Absolutely. All right, guys. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was valuable. I love doing it. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Take care of yourself. Take care of everybody that you know. Give everyone a hug. And yeah, guys, I will see you on Discord. Talk to you then. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.